All right, everyone. We are starting with lesson 1, subunit 1, and we are in our new big unit called the chocolate collection. We've got some research, we've got some writing, we've got some investigating, some thinking to do, some evaluating as this unit continues. So we want to make sure we are aligned, we've got our heads on straight, and we can step on the right foot together and make sure that as we do some research and build our understanding, we can evaluate resources and sources for that matter, um, so that we understand kind of where they come from, how reliable are they, and ultimately land on how credible are they. So make sure you download your texts first. You're going to need to go to the library and you've got some texts to download. Um, all your information is right here. You are looking at the chocolate collection, multi-language glossary, and of course, the corresponding text, the chocolate collection. Type those into the search bar in your library, which you can access with this link right here. Activity 3. We are going to take a look at URLs, and you will find that in your playlist. So a specific URL. What is a URL? Well, a URL is the address of a website. So it's what you type in your search bar to get to the actual website that you want to go to. So websites are places where we start research, especially now in the 21st century. There's some things we have to know about websites, however, and you are going to start by collecting information in Amplify. A little bit later, we're going to make sure we have some notes pages about this stuff too. It does say some of this stuff, discuss whole class, but you're going to do it by yourself. What we're looking for first, is to look at these websites that I provide. All right. So the first one, you're just going to list 3 things that you learned from this website. Now, what you learn can be any number of things, but what's important is you're trying to take away information about the purpose of the website. What are they trying to do? How are they trying to do it? What are they saying? Does it come with extra things to think about as far as what they're saying? So, like, are there issues with credibility? Is it very one sided? Is there no research? Is there lots of research? Um, is the author the appropriate person to write about this? Are they some type of expert? Have they been a journalist or researching for a long time? There's a lot of questions we can ask ourselves. So think about what things you see on this website. What kind of links are there? What kind of words are used to direct your attention to certain sections of the website? Are they words that are filled with maybe connotations, strong emotions, so the meaning behind a word, the feeling behind a word, or is it more of a fact-based type of presentation of words? What is the layout like in terms of organization? Is it easy to find things? Is it hard to find things? You can even talk about design and colors, and what kind of people do they have working there. All right. So list 3 things that you find interesting that you learn from the website, and then explain the author's point of view. Um, so in that article that you're reading, or you're just skimming over right now, not reading, um, what do you see for the author's point of view? So what does the author think about? What does the author want you to think about? And did you see evidence that showed you maybe the author was, oh, maybe not fully informed or really biased and or one-sided about how they're communicating information? Activity 4. So we're going to ask ourselves a few questions about this website. And what we're looking for is the credibility of a site. So, how believable is this site? What kind of information are they using? Where is the information coming from? Who is researching this information? What we're trying to get to is it reliable? Which means, is it believable? Is it consistent? And is it trustworthy? Right? Is it using facts to communicate ideas? Are those facts researched well, or is it just something somebody heard? Right? So, to determine sources of information and their credibility, we got to ask ourselves some questions. These questions are going to be about the author. They're going to be about what evidence the author is using. And are the things the author is saying confirmable? Can we go to it and point to it as evidence? Say, oh yeah, not just the author wrote this in the article, but I know that this can be proven if I go beyond this article to another website where the research is written in full or something like that. This is all about digging deeper into these sources, and that's really important as we conduct our research. What we read first might not be everything that we need, and we're going to have to do our best to make sure what we are reading is correct, is accurate, and doesn't have a bias to convince us of a side. It's just presenting us with the information. So, some questions we can ask ourselves. Does the website give us information about the author's background? If so, does it seem credible? Is it believable? Does it say that the author is the smartest person in the world? Or does it say the author has a degree from this college or university and they've been working in journalism for a decade? Does the website make claims? Does the website say that it is a source of only truth or only freedom or only something, right? If the website is making a claim about what it is, then it needs to make sure it backs up that claim. And we're going to use our critical thinking to see what kind of evidence are they saying that they are. If the website claims to be news, are they actually conveying news? Um, if the author is convincing you of something, what evidence did you find convincing? And did you find any of their evidence questionable? Do all your links work? Do they take you to credible websites? So, is the research linked in the article? Does it actually go to a page, or is that page missing? And what else do you see that helps you understand the credibility of the website? So, go ahead and answer your yes or no questions for activity 4. We're going to hop over to activity 7 and look at domain names. The domain is the end of your URL, your EDUs, your .govs, your .coms, your .orgs, your .nets, and there's a gajillion other ones now. You guys probably didn't know this, but for a while, in fact, most of the time the internet has been in existence up until a few years ago, you were only allowed a certain type of domain. Now you can have all kinds. You can buy certain ones, make up certain ones, all that kind of stuff. So your URLs end in a domain name. URL stands for Universal Resource Locator. And those endings tell us about what kind of website that URL is taking you to. So those endings are helpful because a .gov ending tells us that it is a United States government agency website. The White House has a .gov website. The FBI has a .gov website. The Environmental Protection Agency has a .gov website because they're all official U.S. government websites. .edu is an academic institution. Your colleges, your universities, the places that are doing research, that their focus is academics, education, learning, and teaching, those places have .edus. .coms are for commercials or companies. So every place that's a .com is a commercial, which means they interact in commerce, which means they are selling, making things to be bought. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have reliable information, but it means their first priority is making money. A .org is an organization. Dallas ISD is an organization. So non-profit or not-for-profit is a lot of your .orgs, although they can be commercial. Dallas ISD is a state-funded and county-funded, so publicly funded from tax dollars. That's where the money goes or comes from to pay teachers, to pay principals, to pay for desks and chairs and laptops and lunches and all that kind of stuff. It's a .org because it's an organization and their job is to educate kids pre-K through 12 to the best of their ability. .net is a .network and it's an internet service provider. So, but it can be commercial. So sometimes companies like AT&T might have a .net because they are providing that service. You have those, and those are pretty standard, very common. There are other types, as I said. Let's take a look at this blue box. And you're going to click on one or all of them and evaluate. So you get examples of .gov, .edus, .orgs, and then you're going to go over here and see the websites that you just explored have different domain extensions, the last three letters of the URL. What do you think each domain extension is short for? Write your answers in the boxes below. I gave you the answers. If you need to go back and listen, go back and listen. Is one type of domain extension more credible than another, more believable? Use evidence from the websites that you clicked on in this blue box to explain. So, from your perspective, which one of these do you think is the most credible? .gov, .edu, .org, .com, .net, and why? On to your exit ticket. Part one, imagine that you are writing a report about air pollution. Select two credible resources or the most credible resources from A, B, C, or D. You're picking two. Why did you choose those? It gives you information about the authors. Why do you think those authors are credible? Go ahead and move on to 1.2.